Sometimes it doesn't. Elsa, good morning to you and happy new year. In the year and this magnificent year of the snake, we've moved out of dragon and we're back in the Garden Eden and now um, being hinted at by the snake to all become vegetarians. Or should I say fruitarians, just
Ah,
take a little bite of this and see what's going on.
mm.
So I think that the snakes had a bad rap over time, and I think that's beginning to change now. And I think maybe the wisdom side of the snake is starting to wake up rapidly and helping people across the planet. What do you think?
Well, they call him the little dragon. So as soon as I think of little dragon, I think of this little, maybe the kids watch called Mulan. And it's this little dragon that sits on his shoulder. And he's the one whispering in his ear all the time. And he's quite mischievous. So you said I see dragon, and you said little snake, and he's on the ground, he's grounded. And a dragon's probably not as grounded as a snake. They call snake two realmers because they can be above the horizon and below. So whereas a dragon's more, you know, up there,
Yeah,
breathing fire, and whereas this little one's down here going, how come I don't have any fire? So he's going to have to go down deeper, and I guess this is where the little snake is going to go. Is going to go into the darks of us in a good way because he can come back up and go back down, come back up and go back down. And yeah, I didn't even think of it like this until you just said it. So thank you.
well, that's all
Let
right.
me see. He's cute. I think, dragon energy is kind of exhausting.
It is. I feel like I've been breathing fire myself recently. We've just been having a chat. My mum passed away, as some people know, recently. It wasn't unexpected, to be honest with you, and I'm sort of glad in a way because the last few months, in fact, years of her life, the dignity was gone. The quality of life was gone, and she was basically being kept alive by chemicals. And I'm sort of, in a way, obviously, I'm deeply sad because she was the person that I relied on more than anybody else in my life. Oh, Christ, look, there we go. It's already started. Because I relied on my mum. I used to run everything past her. She never agreed with any choices I was making. So for a long time in my life, I chose what she thought I should do rather than my own mind. So for the 37 years of my life, I was basically living my mum's life, and what she thought was best for me. But I look back now and I wouldn't change it for the world because it's all part of my own learning as well, really. But the good thing about it is that I was holding her hand as she slipped away, and it just felt so peaceful and stuff. And my sister was there, my other brother was there, and Brendan, the other brother, had been up the day before and gone back and stuff. So, but here's the funny thing: is she was hanging on. My sister was saying to me, "Stop giving her healing, will you? Otherwise, she'll never go." But she hung on, and this is the thing, and I know what she hung on for now because it took time for the priest to come along, very Roman Catholic, my mum, to give her the last rites, or they call it the sacred sacrament now. And as soon as the priest came along, and this is what I mean about belief systems and how we're bound by a lot of stuff. It was my feeling that once the priest had been along and given her the off you go now, Josie, that started the process. Because I was sitting with her for months, giving her Reiki, trying to push it out to say, "Go on, mum, go on," where no, there's nothing to hang on for here and all that sort of stuff. But obviously it didn't work. But so that's made me sad. And then I did a silly thing just to clear my mind. I did a half marathon in 1 degree and in the fog. It was foggy and misty all the way around. And for 2 days afterwards, I felt great. And then suddenly something jumped into me, really. And I'm okay with ascension symptoms. I know that the whole planet is going through massive vibrational changes at the moment and different frequencies. And most of the time, I can sort of accept everything, pains and discomfort and everything. But something was saying to me, go and get this checked out, Joker, because you might need more help. So yesterday morning, as I was just mentioning to you, I could hardly breathe at all. And my wife, she works with the pendulum and stuff, and the pendulum was saying, take him to the hospital now, you know. And so I went to the hospital, got checked out, and by all accounts, I've got pneumonia. I had to accept some antibiotics and something called a bronchodilator, like some athletes have. I've got it here actually. I've never had one of these before, but as soon as I took a couple of puffs of that, it was like my throat opened up and all the shit that had been accumulated for days all just came up and out. And so from yesterday, I've been improving steadily. But the point I'm trying to make is because I work in the field of medicine, not all medicine is useful, but not all medicine is useless either. And I had to sort of sit with it because I have high ideals, but I just felt as though I needed to go and get some extra help. So I'm on a very strong antibiotic, which I've got another 3 days left. But I just wanted to share that because my view at one level is that at one level, we've got all that we need, right, to actually heal us. But I also get quite clearly is, but that's all right, Joe. In an ideal world, that would be fine. But the human race is so contaminated and so toxic, sometimes you need extra help. Now, this is just the way I see things, whether it's right or wrong. I feel better than I did yesterday. You know. I've gone on a bit there because trying to explain to people, the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks of my life has been shit, and I haven't enjoyed any of it at all, really. But there's another part of me that knows that we're all being tested to the nth degree at the moment, just to see if we can carry on going forward with a little chuckle in our hearts and a bit of hope rather than negativity. What have
Wow.
you got to say about that?
Okay. Well, which way do you want me to go? Do you want me to go with spirit
I want you
or do
to
you want me to
go.
go with
I want you to go with.
physical? Go on, you tell me
I
which
want you to
way.
go with spirit. I always want you to go with spirit.
All right. So you're on a run talking about your mom and, tears are like building up, overcoming me. And then all of a sudden you say murder, something about mums with dad and they're going to create all murder up there or something. And as soon as you said it, I could hear the crows in the background of your video. And I go, there's no randoms, there's no randoms, there's no randoms. I was like, is this the is this the bird? Is this the bird presenting the angel? I believe that especially birds, but it can be insects and other animals too, or flashing lights. When one crosses over, they find a place somewhere to communicate with you. Now, I've never met Dr. Joe's mum. Let me tell you, she hasn't left me alone. I had the same with Mila's mum. And when you say she waited until the priest, I got goose pimples all up and down my arm. She's coming to show us and remind me of my yaya, my grandmother, how strong the religion belief is in them. And it's their whole world. And I always said that if my yaya was alive now with how Greek Orthodox she was, what's about to come out, what's going to be happening in the next few years would kill her anyway.
Yeah.
You know? So, so on the spirit side, which is supposed to uplift you, okay, right? She has the crows have been coming to Richard and I all week. The last First of all, they wouldn't be quiet. And I was like, it was like they were having a conference all the time. So we'd go outside and they'd be in these pine trees. And then we'd go out the other side of the house and they'd all shift over to the other side. I was going, are they following? Because then you start thinking you're in the movie The Birds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I go, you know what? I think this is greater. But crows are great communicators between this realm and the other. They take many animals over to the next realm. They assist them. Um, and so I started going into the magic, I guess, of a crow and listening. I love listening to them because they click like dolphins, ravens and crows. Then I have them landing on the road in front of me as we're driving and then looking at me. I'm going, did he was he was he looking at me? Was he looking at you, Jeannie? He goes, no, he's looking at you. So it was it was very playful. It was very odd. I have to say the whole week's been odd with Crow, but even Richard's had a few weird encounters. But it it helps to lift your energy. It lifts your spirit through the day. And this last 2 weeks, we've had a bit of a rough time with a family member as well, and it just lifts your spirit. So you go, yes, there's all that, but we're part of this too. So it sort of it it like pulls the heavy human up, and then the heavy human brings down the spirit as well. So it's like that, like you said, it's like Libran scales or
Yeah.
but you can't have it always up
No,
high and
no,
walking around eating parsley. Just sometimes you have to have a 3D experience. So you go to hospital and have a three. I actually had to go to hospital yesterday. I think I can count how many times I've been to hospital. It was not for me.
no.
It was not for our family member, but it was, I had to go and do something. We had a bit of a horse incident, and the lady's name at the hospital, I have to say this. I rang up to get some crutches, and I was a bit unsure of how to get crutches. Is crutches the same thing where you put them under your
Yeah,
arms? Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
the same name? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't want people thinking I'm getting, crutch. Anyway, anyway, or you can call them sticks, I guess. Anyway, so I ring up the hospital, and this lady on the phone was so helpful. She could tell I was a complete idiot about hospitals. And I said, "Oh, look, I'll come in." She said, "Come in after my lunch break because I'll be here and I can help you." And I said, "Okay, what's your name?" And she goes, "It's Tara." And I've gone,
Ah, very good.
"Yes."
Very good.
I was like, "Okay, thank you." I look, it, it is tough, everything that everyone's going through, but then comes along Crow. And it's not to make fun of anyone. It's not to make anyone feel stupid. It's actually meant to lift your spirits. And we just have to balance them out. And you can't feel guilty or have doubt about going to getting the medication because you got the pendulum saying it. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm going to
yeah,
follow the pendulum more
yeah,
than anything because
yeah.
they know that knows it's tapping into you, it's tapping into the energy, it's tapping into the fog. How do you know that when you went to the hospital, you weren't healing people just by walking through?
Well, it's funny you should say. It's funny you should
Okay,
say
here we
that.
go.
It's funny because I got there as we are here for a reason, Joseph, and I was thinking, don't be at it now. Just like help me to breathe clearly because I'm pissed off with all this, right? And I'm beginning to lose my faith very rapidly, which is unlike me. So just anyway, I got just walk around this corner. Well, this surprised me, and I'm virtually unshockable. But the corridors were rammed, right, with people in the corridors lying on trolleys, right? All the corridors of the hospital where you normally walk down, there was old people all the way down. Now we hear because it's hard to discern the true from the false. The information from some people is they're all lying to you again. The hospitals aren't overworked. Well, Christ Almighty, Elsa, I used to work in this hospital. I've never seen anything like it. And what happens is all the trolleys are filled with old people all the way down the corridors, down the main entrance and everything. All the ambulances are stacked up because the paramedics have to stay with the people that they've brought in. So in the UK at the moment, the National Health Service, and we know this is part of a plan, the National Health Service is rapidly disintegrating. And also because of my job, I teach medical people who work in the NHS. They're all falling apart with stress as well. So there's a massive, massive thing going on at the moment. And I got Joe, this is the reality of it. Yes, the NHS is falling apart, but so is every other system, Joe. What you've got to do, and spread this message, please, is to help people to understand to put their health and their well-being before everything else. Because if they lose their health and their well-being, then they become a burden to the people around them. They are responsible for the choices that they make regarding their health, and this includes you, son. Who said that? But pass the message on because, Joe, beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. And that's part of the Desiderata poem, which is what I try and live my life by. It's very practical if anybody doesn't know it. Desiderata, it's called, if you want to look that up. But I'm getting more and more now is, Joe, it's time for the people of the world now to start taking responsibility for the choices they make and not to be distracted or tempted away from themselves to look for external answers. Not to say that there aren't some external answers, right? But most of the time, if you go within, you can be guided by your innate intelligence, which is the next level of your evolution. Listen to that first and foremost, and all will be well. And yes, son, right? Let yourself off the hook. You're doing a good job, right? Just carry on. Over to you, Elsa.
So they're lined, right, with many. How are you? So you've walked past all those souls, right?
Yeah,
Those old, so the elder ones have seen many pupils throughout their life because they've been on Tara for a long time, and now they're all in there. So you walking past in fogland time, I I can see why you're a little ill. Um, I'm actually surprised that look, you're walking past all those souls, but all the ones with them as
yeah,
well. That's a lot.
yeah,
Now, if their soul is confused or has been in disarray or has lost its dignity,
yeah,
what's the word dignity mean? It digs in. Burden means it burrs in, like a tick, it burrs into the home. So dignity, burden, that means they've all gone within, but they haven't done much going out. So it's all stuck in there. They're in hospital bed in a horizontal resting position. So now they're in a zone of electrics and EMF. And then Dr. Joe walks through, you're a breath of fresh air. Um, you just walk past them all like a messiah. I
Well,
know this
one of
sounds
them
really
stopped
weird
me
what I'm
actually.
saying.
One of them
What?
stopped me. One of them stopped me to say, "Son," she said, "Son, what time is it, please?" So I went over to her and had a little chat with her, and told her the time. She said, "I've been here for so long." I thought, "Oh, I've got to get out. I've got to, I've got to get out before I get grabbed by this." Sorry.
Well, I mean, that sounds like okay. Right. So creative photographer now coming in. That sounds like a um Harry Potter film where you see all those people on the rocks, their souls, and they're grabbing up. I mean, that's what it feels like when you're saying this. I'm not trying to give it a dark energy or a light energy. I'm actually giving it a neutral energy and going, wow, how 3D and spirit can you get? But that's usually the last thing that people think about in a hospital until the last breath. And then they're all about the priest and but it's not, it's all the way before it because they're in the ghost guest mode. Ghost guest is when you're in the dying process, it opens up portholes. So just say that hospital is normally they're all in their rooms, but now they're not all in their rooms, but they're all in their rooms and all out in the hallways. That's a lot of ghost portholes opening up, but overlapping as well. I'm getting confused. Where am I? What time is it? Disorientation. Also, they've been put under a lot of drugs to keep them in ease, I guess. So that confuses them. Then you've got all the confused relatives coming through. It's a mess,
Yeah,
absolute mess. This is what I call chaos.
yeah,
That to me is like going to a crazy shopping center before Christmas. And you've done well. You've walked through, you're breathing, and you've still got a little Dr. Joe smile and a twinkle in your eye. You have done well. Pat on the back. Don't beat yourself up. Look at yourself like you were there. You know, she told you what the pendulum said.
yeah.
I'm going with her.
Oh no, but so do I. I mean, and I feel that, and it's just confirmation, really. And I mean,
Yeah.
my wife, she uses a lot of homeopathic remedies, so I got all those sorts of things as well. I've had lemon, honey, Also elderflower cubes, and so I've had the whole lot as well with that as well. In myself, I feel completely emotionally calm, but physically I felt really shit, you know what I mean? And I have sometimes the feeling that I should be like, because I'm a healer and I've been doing all this for such a long time, that these things shouldn't affect me, but I got son, you're also a human being as well, right? And so, just go with it. Treat yourself a bit more kindly. And remember, you're coming up to 70 years of age. You're a bit of a dickhead, really. And I think, thanks very much, because that's how spirit talked to me, like that. Listen, fool, right? But the whole process has been interesting. And I feel so far removed from human most of the time now. And I just look at the world as some sort of like bizarre sort of, it's like a sort of tragic comedy to me that's going on at the moment, you know. And I also got a feeling is that I need to step away to a large degree from helping other people for the moment, because a lot of that's people pleasing in me. And I need to start focusing a little bit more on myself, on my own energy. So that's where I feel that I'm up to at the moment. And as for the dreams I'm having, Elsa, I've been taken away. I mean, I used to get a lot of stuff when I was a kid and I didn't understand it, but I've been shown that even from the earliest age, I've been being whizzed out, given information and shoved back in. So that's all happening again now. And I've been to some really weird and wonderful places and met some very peculiar beings on the way. And sometimes when I wake up, I've got no idea where I'm in, what earth I'm in, what planet I'm on, and it takes me a while to sort of come back. So everything's happening to me at the moment, but I don't feel too disconcerted about everything really. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I wake up and I say, please take me now because I've had enough, right? And then I get this great big guffaw from the clouds. Oh. And I get carry on. And after about half an hour, I'm back on the horse.
It's just so, look, it's good because I said you're an arc between the old ways and the new ways, and this is you bridging them and you're acting it out. And this is a so like I'm like you, I would beat myself up. Like my mouth has come back up a bit the last 2 weeks with the fog.
Yeah,
And I'm going, oh, this shouldn't be happening to me. I'm doing so much this, but it is. It is what it is. Deal with it. Stop sulking. Stop beating yourself up. Deal with it and keep moving through. And then as I'm thinking things, I'll have a hawk land in front of me or a crow or something funny. Like, and the dovetailing, the synchronicity lifts my spirit. So obviously it's becoming a bit heavy. They step in and go, come on, come and play, come and play. And they balance each other out again. And it's like a reset like this all the time. And I had, when you told me that you gone to hospital, and when you said when you walked down that hall, I feel like you were meant to be there. You're meant to be there. You're meant to be doing what you're doing and trust that the universe is doing that with
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah. And the more that you trust that means that you're trusting your soul, you're trusting your oversoul. Like you just knew in your head, you're going, I should be doing natural, I should be doing homeopath, but you could see what the pendulum was saying. You
yeah,
could see what your wife was saying, and she's a homeopath. They're saying, okay, we're going to have to go here. So you've overridden what we've been speaking about and had to go back that way. Do you see how much trust that is in spirit? Like that's huge. So for me, I go, wow, that's bravery. It's humility. Because you almost have to go back to the hospital with the tail between the legs.
yeah, yeah.
And I have that has have had that happen to me, but you have to realize it's for something else. Because you're not on, we're not these little specks of dust on Gaia by ourselves.
No,
We're here with everyone, the crows, the trees, the rocks, the water, the politicians, the celebrities. We're here with all of them. We're all here together. And we're just to think that you're running your own show all by yourself. is crazy because it wouldn't have even got here otherwise. It
No,
needs gravity, it needs wind, it needs, yeah. So I I'm impressed. I am. I'm impressed because it would have you would have had to almost do a big swallow to go to the hospital.
because
And then
Catherine
you
is saying to me, "Get in the car now," and I'm saying, "No, no, I'll decide." I say, "I'll just ask what my heart says," and my heart talks to me through my left ear and it says, "You're right, you know." I think, "Oh God," and I said,
uh,
"Darling, darling, I think that you may be correct." I said. So if you could possibly take me there now, that would be appreciated. And then she says, "You are a dickhead." She calls me a dickhead. So in the
well,
end, it all worked out in the end. Because if I honestly don't know what to do, I'll keep saying, "Thy will not mine be done. Thy will not mine be done." Put it in my heart. Show me what to do. Take the steps for me, please. Get me going in the right direction, and I'll try and follow what you're saying to me, you know.
yeah, we'll have. See, this is good. So, okay, this is another thing that I have been shown by many realms, include a big one by Neff, is the power of prayer. Now, prayer is not in a religious context as well, but you can take it that way. It's the power of sweet words, and they call it TM meditation, I guess. It's just quietening the mind and reciting words to shut the other one up
Yeah.
so that you can just, it's like, turning off the internet and in your head sort of thing. And just so these sweet words or um, uh, the the book of life, the game of life by Florence Chevelle, she has beautiful words. She's from the 1800s, Tartarian time.
Ah,
Had to drop that one.
yeah.
Anyway, she's so cool. I love her. I call her Flossie, and I feel her all the time around me. And she has lots of sweet words. If you can't create your own, and just have little sweet words um that you can recite, and so that it lifts your spirit or holds you in a space to allow spirit. So sometimes if I'm overthinking, especially when I'm doing the dishes because I'm scrubbing and swearing and going, bloody kids, why don't they wash this lot up? I'll be, so I recite words to myself. So I'll give you an example. A playful one that I used to say all the time, and before I even knew it was a prayer, was listen to the birds, listen to the bees, listen to the birds, listen to the, it means nothing, right? But it means everything at the same time. And those little words would get me into a rhythm of not listening to anything, but just a rhythm. And this is what a cat does when it purrs. This is why they're so healing. This is why the birds sing. They go out there and sing. This is why choirs at churches sing, 'cause this is lifting their spirit. This is lifting. This is what music used to be. So you saying those words, then so I'm using Mr. Joe, Dr. Joe, as an example. He said these words, and then the spirit came in and he said, "Okay, Catherine, you can take me to the hospital." So but that's a surrender moment, right?
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
the surrender was you surrendered to the words, then that helped you surrender to the act. See? Let's see act again. It's back to our first show.
Absolutely.
No, I love you. I love this. I love this. I do.
But I'm
It's
just
so
trying to,
cool.
because I mean, some people, I mean, I think that they think I know a lot of stuff, really, and I do. I've practiced lots of stuff. I mean, we talk about sounds and sweet words and prayers and vibrations, but what's been coming to me is everybody's senses are being expanded. So there's a sort of emotional intolerance going on with people, and they're becoming much more reactive. And that's just to show us that our sensitivity is increasing, and it's supposed to be a gift. But if you don't know how to handle and almost like regulate your emotions through an open and flowing heart, then you'll be taken away by it, really. And then we'll go on the same old loop that we used to. I've done a lot of Kabbalistic work over my time, and I see very, very clearly that reciting certain words with certain tones and using certain fragrances and certain colors, all these things open up spheres of consciousness. that to a large degree have been obstructed from us. And it's almost like this, all these spheres now, 12 of them, have come back online now. And we're almost being intuitively guided to say the correct things, to use the right colors, to wear the right clothes. But if we're not listening to our inside self, and we're looking outside to the external world for examples, right, we're always going to be lost, really, because they know that it's happening and they know how to distract us away from what we need to. And as I keep saying, Elsa, it's out of the head and back into the heart. And the deeper we go, somebody said to me in the week, to remember this, Joe, is people, so most people don't go deep enough to contact themselves, because people are always looking outwards and they're looking up for God and stuff like that. But some people have to go deeper and darker in order to find the light. And I know that that's what's happening now in a way, is rather than look outside and upwards for answers, we need to just sit, try and sink deeply and ask the question. To me, pray means just ask the question or, just say, look, I'm a bit unstuck here. I wonder if you could possibly just give us a clue, really. And that's what I try and do.
Yeah. Well, by doing this, so um, the weird one in Oz goes and does that out with the stars, and then bang. Yeah. So, Richard goes, careful what you wish for. I go, I didn't wish for that. He goes, You've been saying those sweet words. Well, look what's happening now. And it does it presents, but obviously I'm okay with it. I'm ready for it, and yeah. And you you keep getting stepped up. I just love this old lady grabbing your arm and saying, "What's the time?" She's saying that she's having time because this is what's been going on this whole last 2 weeks. Everyone I speak to, they feel like they're in a time warp, a time lapse, a time loop. And the way I feel about it, I can see things collapsing in on itself and it resets, collapsing in, resets. So it's actually, when we say a quickening, it's happening. There's quite a few going on. So old stories, old realms folding in on themselves, realizations, and you've got these comets and asteroids coming in with new energy and um, they're raining in on us as well. So they're going, I don't know, we're going to rain in on them. Are they ready for it? No, they'll be fine. Dump on us. And so we got new. And then you really have to quickly, like what you've had to do, get rid of the old. And if you don't address it quickly, you might not be here the next minute and yourself, even though it's kind of cute that you're taking me now. They're going, yeah, that's funny. Nice try.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice try.
Yeah.
You don't get out of it that easy. Yeah, go
I
back to
get,
work.
should have read the small print, should have read the small.
Nice
But like
try.
you say, I have this thing that's all right, Joe, get over yourself now. What's next?
Yeah,
But that hasn't come overnight. That's been years of discipline, that really. Because I know
yeah,
that if I feel any tension or emotional disturbance, let's call it a negative emotion, the first thing I need to do is quieten the emotional disturbance before I make the next decision or take action. Now, that's not like old Joe. I would have been, oh, this would have been a fantastic excuse to get absolutely pissed out of my mind now, because my mother's gone and all this is happening. Oh, it used to be so dramatic. There's none of that in me now. It's just straightforward. Okay, what's next? Right.
well, the little snake's gonna niggle. So now you've had the big dragon energy. So everyone's a little tired or exhausted, a bit worn. Everyone feels a bit worn out when you see everyone around. Even the healthy ones look a little worn. I have to say, everyone looks a bit worn. The pets look worn out.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Yeah.
you can see the fur's a bit flat on one side, or the ears down,
Yeah.
or the tail's a bit crooked. Well, that's a bit how everyone's feeling. And now we're going to go into the nigglies of the little snake. And it's the wood snake. So it's take going back to the core, your spine. And that's what these words, if you can create your own little words or a prayer or something like what Dr. Joe said, so it brings you back to your core. Go back there, quick, run back to the core. And you said there was a disturbance in the force. Very, very Star Wars. Uh, so there's a disturbance in the force, back to the core, back to the stem of us, and go from there. Now, even if it goes against all your belief systems and you have a calling, still follow that calling because you don't know what's going to happen when you go there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you might never know what you did when you walk through that hospital. But when you hear people saying holding space, holding ground, you walking past people, sometimes that's all they need. So when you go to that store and you don't know why you went to that store, but you really wanted that packet of crisp that you're not supposed to eat because you're not supposed to eat potato anymore. Not saying any names here, but that's
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Your mum, I have been eating potato crisps and chocolate all week. I'm sure that's why I'm flared up here. And the kids are like, and even Marissa's going, how many packets have you eaten? And I said, I'm doing it for someone. And I felt like I really was. I felt like I was almost, I don't know, like in celebration of her,
Well,
but also,
sorry to interrupt you. I mean, as she went away, I got a packet of crisps and put a chocolate, a Ferrero Rocher next to her as well. You know what I mean? And I've got the
oh,
Ferrero Rocher in my pocket now, so I'm going to eat
yeah.
that as a celebration. But she loved
Mm,
the cheese and onion crisps. She'd have that before anything else. And so that was the main thing. She'd always look to me as if to say, "Have you got any more crisps, son?" So I'd leave her with an open packet of crisps and some. She liked Cadbury's chocolate more than anything else.
yeah.
But what you said before is, and I actually, when I help people, I say the same thing: is you might think that you're going there for one reason and be clear about it. But in the truth about it is you're actually going for that reason. And my friend said to me many, many years ago, he said, Joe, you might be going to do a PhD at Liverpool University and you might be going to do it and it'll take you all this time. He said, but the whole reason you're going to Liverpool is to smile at the lady in the seat opposite. Right. And that's the whole reason for your 7 years work. It's just to smile at that woman because you've got no idea of the positive consequences that might come from that action. And the reason we don't tell you is, right, because then you'll just get in the way and you won't do it. So just be yourself, right? And that's what I try and do. I try and put a chuckle on everybody's face, if I can, because I think it's more helpful than moaning all the bleeding time.
Well, okay, this is what happens to me, right? So if I don't follow my calling, so I go, oh, I'm supposed to go there, or I'm supposed to go and spin over there, or pull a crystal, or take a leaf or feather. If I don't follow that, boy, do I get taken there anyway. So I know not to test it because sometimes the next version of it is a little bit tougher. And I don't, it's not that I'm chicken of the tougher, but I just have been through it so many times over the 30 years that it's so much easier just to do it. And which is great because the family supports me. And Richard's been as as hard as it's been for him to understand me, he still supports me. Oh, so why are we going there? Because of the grasshopper, really? Okay. So you can see he's going great. Or the kids, but the kids also understand too, and they'll say, uh, why are we going there? And they say, and then they whack each other because you don't say because you'll start telling us the reason because they don't want to hear the whole story.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't, you've started her up now. Don't start her up. So yeah, I know that we go there for a reason, and it's to get over the ego of myself too, because um there's you go just so you go somewhere and you place a feather. I'm just saying, or you go somewhere and you say hello to someone and smile at them. Well, you don't get $50. doesn't cover your cost in fuel.
No,
It didn't even pay for the crisps. But how do you know what you just did? You'll never know. And that's the so nice to smile at someone.
it is. And I think I was born in the spirit of Heyoka, no doubt about that. Which
What's
is
Heyoka? Sorry. What's
Heyoka is
Heyoka?
the Native American Indian. Um, what do they call it? Like shaman, joker, jester. It's the jester.
Ah,
It's
the
the
chest.
one that tests the food for the chief. It's the food tester. It's the one who actually influences Imhotep, right? It
Oh,
was Imhotep, right? And that's the energy that guides me more than any other. And it's been massive, obviously, in the last 3 weeks. It's been massive, this, and I've had so many deep Egyptian things going on to me. Really, really loads of them. This morning was so powerful. I'm thinking, because I say, I don't know what you're trying to show me. Can you just? But the whole point about it is the jester's the king, not the king, right? The jester is the wise one. The snake is the wise one, because what's happening now is the serpent, the snake's coming through now as a single animal, but it's knitting the two other snakes together. When I tried to do myself in, I don't know whether I ever told you this, but I injected myself with Russell Viper venom, right? And yeah, it obviously didn't work. But
no.
they gave me at the rugby club. They gave me at the rugby club then, right? Because I did it with loads of drink down me, right? And I just wanted to see myself off. But Russell Viper venom. But in the line out at the rugby, the code word was "he who speak with forked tongue," because that's how they do. They just take the piss out of you, you know. But I've got like a legend in rugby now of him. He's the one, and all this sort of business. Anyway, I digress. The snake one now, it's the single snake to me that's knitting those other two together, because those two serpents, whether you call them spin and anti-spin, have been off target. And what's also coming to me now is it's almost like we're being recorrected now perfectly in line with gravity. So there's almost like an antagonistic effect, right? Where they've both got energies, one's going up and one's going down. And when they're perfectly balanced, right, that's where the open center comes up and the wisdom comes through. And I think that we're all being taught now is this is just sit with what's happening. Just sit. Open your heart. Watch what comes to you. Don't force anything through your imagination. Watch what vision emerges and then try and act upon the information that comes to you sequentially, because your intuition and your innate intelligence will provide you with the picture of the action that you need to take. But your imagination might try and come in to say, that can't be right. And like you've just said, Elsa, it's trying to go with the feeling that's coming from your heart rather than what your head's trying to tricky dicky talk you out of, really. I don't know what all that was about, but this serpent energy that's coming through now, it's almost like knitting together all the fragments that have been sort of misaligned. So, I mean, even Shanine, she was talking about it. This is all about alignment of the 12 dimensions, which are basically 12 systems or 12 bodies, but it's all regulated by an open and flowing heart. So if you trust your heart, the heart will open, the soul will send its intuitive wisdom to you. It's just trusting that process, Christ. I'm on one now because I'm on lecture mode, but it's so important. How do we get to it? First of all, just stop, just sit, relax, open your heart, ask the question, will you help me, please, heart? That's it.
Okay. Okay, so I'll be the jest. My first competition horse was called Jester, and he didn't like Richard at all. So it's funny. Um, but he was Jester. He was naughty. He was really naughty. He would wait till Richard wasn't looking, then bite him on the ass. Um, this is coming to me. You said ask. So ask magic. So it's your ask. Uh, Go to the bottoms of yourself, rock bottom, and then ask for magic. And this is what you're saying. Go to the nitty gritty and ask yourself. One thing I noticed when we shifted up from Sydney to here is so we'll be walking in the forest or the bush and we see a snake. They say snakes can't see and stuff. I look, I've had different encounters with snakes, but I they see us. They can the speed that they can and they go into a hole that you think they can't fit into, but they've already calculated it many times. They're fast. So I'm gonna say this little snake here will us, like you said, it will be us going into the nitty gritty, down quickly, up quickly, down quickly, up quickly. So it's going to take all that huge dragon energy that we're tired from, and then it's going to pull it, it's like already grounded in us, and then it's going to knit it in now, knit it into our cells sort of thing. And it will be rapid and it will be really important to address things quickly. Um, I can't breathe. Is the natural stuff working? No. Do I need to go back to the old belief system? Yes. Okay, go that way. And not beat yourself up. Because if you're not here taking a breath, then you can't do the next step. And so, yeah, this little I can see how fast the snakes move. But also, they just love sitting in the sun. They're not moving fast all the time. Most of the time, they're doing nothing. They're just lying in the sun and heating up and resting and collecting all the energy ready for the speed. And this is what humans don't do. They just keep going.
Yeah, yeah,
And I know that because I was the one that wanted everything to be perfect. All the house, all the kids' hair, they all had to be wearing the same outfit, we look like the Von Trapp family, except
yeah,
without the singing, And, I wanted to be organized, ready to be ready, but it didn't always work that way. So I had to surrender to that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so I'm just saying, like, um, be the jest of yourself, be the jester of yourself, play with it and allow the fast moments and definitely allow those slow moments. Like you said, you're going to you might pull away a little bit from this but everyone's expecting you to do this, but your soul saying pull away for a bit. Do that because your soul knows what to do as long as you go back there. If you're making a decision from way over here, who, what, where's that decision? Where's that decision coming from? Because it's not your body's going, well, why is he making that choice from over there, but I'm over here?
yeah. I'm
So
pretty
you're
good
out
at
of
that.
alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty good
Sorry.
at that. I mean, I sit with it and I just really go into, I don't know what's going on. Right. And I'll sit and I'll say, look, please just show me what to do next. And that's how I more or less live my life from one moment to the next, really. And it works. It works. And sometimes people want answers from me very, very quickly. And I can't be rushed into anything, and I do this Tai Chi thing. It goes like this. It's almost like just belt up, will you? I'm thinking it through. And if that doesn't work, it becomes that one. I've told you once, right? And then the second one, and I've told you twice, right? But I won't be rushed. I won't be rushed on the motorway, right? If anyone's trying to sort of come close to me on the motorway, I just put my brake on a little bit more because I need to have a little play around, And I can see them getting all angry. Now, if they have a big build-up of negative emotion and bulliness and they have a heart attack, it's not my fault, right? It's the way that they've just processed all that information. So that's what I do is I give them a little clue to say you're not going to get your own way, sonny, and that's a naughty bit in me that causes me trouble sometimes. But the point I'm trying to make is when you talk about snakes, I'm seeing wavelengths now, and I'm seeing wavelengths of all different frequencies. And right now, I've got 12 wavelengths of all different frequencies, all aligning together, right? And I think that that's what's on offer for us, Elsa. But it's got to be done in a sequential way. The big thing I keep getting is tell them, Joe, because I keep getting this, tell them, right, what they're looking for. The information that they need is already within them. If they'll just sit, open up, and ask the question, please show me what I need to do next. Because it's not it's a program of action, this. The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. And there's loads and loads of people like myself for years knowledge wise, I know a hell of a lot of stuff knowledge wise, both medically and spiritually and all that sort of stuff. But unless you take action on it, faith without works is dead. Unless you take action and ground it, you can't move on to the next step in your own evolution, you know. And I've learned that from years and years of experience. Do I get it wrong? Most of the time, but every now and then I get shoved back into look fool, listen to what was, oh, thanks very much, I missed that, you know. So we're always learning, aren't we? We're always learning all the time.
Well, um, sense is the memory of us, the story of us, and uh, you have you have to come from the memory of you and go from there. So you can't go from the memory of something on TV or the memory of grandma or the memory of your husband or the neighbor. You have to come from the memory of you and go from there, which is your spine, along your spine, your spinal cord. Um, it's interesting you brought up Imhotep because okay, I want to bring something more playful with this now. So you brought up dark purple.
Oh yeah, deep purple.
Well, um, just so they because they so you look at your body and you see blue blood, and they give you this big scientific spiel about why when blood isn't blue, but it actually doesn't make sense with the other scientific reasoning of how you see blue. It contradicts each other. So who's lying? Well, I know how fraction of light works, and so I'm going to say it's probably the medical industries tapped a bit, confused it a little bit. But this ultraviolet is the next version of blue, deep purple, and it is attached to Imhotep because he could see ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is infrared. They changed, you know that ultraviolet is infrared. They changed it somewhere along the line. Like, you know how they changed dinosaur and dragon?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and people go, oh, they wouldn't do that. I go, that's so funny. It's so cute. Really? We've just had all the lockdowns and you're still feeding that one. Um, so the they do, they change things. So they change all the names of it so you can't work it out. It's got something to do, this seeing the ultraviolet. Mila's daughter's spoken about it. Mila's spoken about it's about seeing this other color and being the birds see it, they navigate. The bats, a lot of animals see this ultraviolet blue, and I feel like when people say this next wave of upgrade and everything's coming, I really feel like it will. So you got this world, right? I think there's a couple of movies about it, but when you have the extra colors come in, think how much that transforms the world. Like if you imagine now the world without blue, which I have many times, kind of looks like Mars. It's the yellow, white, red, black. You take out blue, there's no green. It's very different. The sea looks black, or yeah, the sky doesn't look blue, it goes dark, like gray. So it becomes everything becomes shades of gray. You see blue, see how your world has shifted? And now if you see ultraviolet, so you bringing up deep purple. So Dr. Joe sends me a message and he sends me a message and I'm going, no, I haven't got it yet. I haven't got it. And then I hear ping, that's it. And it was the deep purple. So now I know there's a confirmation. So that's like the crow again. It's like that lady's name, Tara. I go, okay, now I'm on path. It's pulling me along somewhere now, somewhere I've been before. It's asking me to remember the deep ultraviolet, violent, violet.
Yeah, yeah.
They have steered us off this because it's violent. It's not violent, it's violet. So something about this purple, it's made me excited because what will happen is we'll be clearing out all this stuff, going through all this, ascension symptom process. And then all of a sudden, we're going to see it will look like a new world, even though we're in the same world. And the birds are like, really? We've been seeing that for ages. You guys are so slow. It's what I feel like will happen. Something like this will happen.
Oh, I agree. Sometimes when I go into a deep meditation and come out of it, everything's much more clear. The blue is bluier, the green is green, So most of the time I'm in this sort of mundane color scheme, but every now and then the light goes on and things open up more, and it brings with it a different sort of a feeling and stuff like that. But that's what I got. I kept getting when I woke up, I kept getting black night, and I've
Mm.
had that for ages. And I was looking at Black Knight with a K, and then I get a samurai warrior, all black, and then I get not violence but protection, and I got all this force. The force is within you, and I go, oh, there we go, Star Wars is coming in, and then I got this. Oh, then I got Black Knight is a long way from home, and I thought I know that song, so I looked on YouTube. But Elsa, when I looked at the words, the lyrics, I thought, oh my God, right, this is everything that's been coming to me. And then I say, how do you do that? It's really good because it keeps coming in all sorts of various ways. And what I was going to say then again is if you look at the way snakes see, I mean, if we take back the old definition of if they work by infrared, so they pick up heat signatures. That's their way of actually seeing things, really, you know. And if we go to the other end of the spectrum, the different sort of ultraviolet, so it's definitely about energy, frequency, vibration, alignment. But how do we do it? By surrendering. Don't try and work anything out. Get your head out of the way and just allow this flow process of cleansing to come through because it's not you that's changing your perception, it's the process. And what we're going through is more and more rapidly now. Our minds are being changed for us by our next level of evolution. You don't have to get hold of everything, you have to let go of everything because academia will tell you, oh, you need to know this. You don't, you need to unknow everything that's previously been learned because it's been the biggest con job in the world. So let your head go, let your memories go, and work beyond memory. But what's beyond memory, right? Before you developed a language, how did you communicate with yourself? Through feelings, through feelings, not through words, not through pictures, just through feelings. And that's where I think we're up to now is go beyond words and pictures and everything else and just feel the direction that your heart's trying to navigate you in.
Well, when you say black night, I see that ultra violet, not violent.
Yeah, yeah,
And this is what a night, you think of a night being violent, but a night doesn't go around killing, like in Hollywood they do,
yeah,
but a knight doesn't go around killing people all the time. A knight was noble. A knight used to respect his horse and his armor. He would be disciplined. He would know he was healthy. He had strength. He held his carriage well, and he would have to be centered to riding a horse with all that stuff on.
yeah, yeah,
And to be able to not only ride a horse, so on another species, but swing a sword and not, so this is great skill. So he's practice. You don't just get on a horse with all that stuff and just know what to do. So again, coming back to being disciplined. So he would practice. A black knight would practice. Now I'm giving this as an example because once you practice being back in yourself, which we've been told not to be,
yeah,
because you've been told to be over here getting ready for the calendar over here, all the stuff over there that's coming. Get back into being yourself and feeling yourself. Sounds, uh, then
steady on.
it's not that type of show.
Yeah,
Yeah, so once you come back to here, then allow however it looks to present. And look, my last 2 years, I've been, well, 3 years now. I don't even know how long, but I have literally been the crazy lady now talking out loud to people. It's not my profession. And the next bits of information I'm coming out with is probably even crazier. But honestly, if I don't share it out, I'm not following my calling. I'll miss alignments. I've got to go through all this stuff over here again. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'd rather get it out, address it when it's ready, with discipline, with calmness, with ease, and then allow the next one, and allow the next one, and allow the next one. And look at what I'm doing. Allow the next one. So it's a bit like the snake. I'm going down, and I'm coming up. It's like Tai Chi, see?
yeah,
Oh, it's like Karate Kid, wax on,
yeah.
wax off. I know it's so corny, all the stuff I say. Corny really helps explain a lot of stuff. But it's a figure eight. It's a gate. They're doorways. It's Horus. It's going down and up, down it. You can't always be up here. You're not always the Black Knight swinging the sword. It gets heavy and you get an arm pump.
Yeah.
So it's so cool that you can have this information, Dr. Joe, come through, and it just means so much to me right now. And it's this dovetailing and synchronicity and silliness that reminds me of my spine, of the sense of me, which makes no sense to everyone else. The whole family are like, "You're ridiculous. You're crazy. You're a nutter." And they go, "But you might have a point."
I love it when they say, it's funny you should say that, because you think, oh, here we go. Do you know what you said last week? I said, yeah, that's been happening to me. I think, oh, really? Oh, really? I
Is
tell
that
you
what
what
you get
has
all the
happened to
time?
me, though. Another
It's
voice
funny what you
came,
said. Sorry.
yeah, no, no, sorry. Another tone voice came through, which was like as clear as anything. And it was like a mix between Rock E.T., right? And I'm not going to do him today because my throat's still a bit sore. But also, there's been a high pitch one as well, which are like really like coming through really quickly. There was something right in the middle of those two that came in like that. And what's happening to me now? Because I mean, Elsa, over the last 3 years myself, all these voices and stuff has been coming through to me. And at first, I was like, I'm not doing that. You can't ask me to do that. And I just do it, will you, and see what happens. Well, I start doing it, and people say that's happening to me as well. And and so we have groups of light language people meeting up and stuff like this. But what's happening to me now is there's one coming through and it comes in, and as it's coming in now, it's bringing with it like writing, and it's going from right to left. So it's like Arabic or ancient Arabic. So it comes in, and I'm trying to write this down in pen as well now, right? To try and make it flow a bit more readily. People say, do you understand it? I don't understand it, but some people do understand. So what's coming out of my mouth, I don't understand it. I just speak it, and other people are getting information from it as well. So that's why we say we need to work with each other, be as crazy as possible. Just allow this thing to express itself in whatever form it comes out, because it's that's going to save the world. I honestly feel that the more human we become, right, the better chance we've got, really, because there's so much energy that's trying to drive us in just being audio visual. Probably the most important sense to have is touch, is touch. Is to touch another person, is to hug another person with genuineness, sincere hugs and stuff like that. I think that that's going to keep us together, because there seems to be this massive thing that everybody becomes isolated and we lose that closeness in that relationship and stuff. Got no idea what I'm going on about there, but I'm sure you can translate that.
Oh, okay. So the last few years told us not to touch people because you're going to infect everyone. That's cute. So yeah, come back to touch. And touch can be as simple as that. I have Dingo, our Dalmatian. He loves rubbing his bum on me like this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's his thing, and he'll push me over. But it just means he's so happy. He loves me, and he's wagging his happy tail on me all the time. But if I'm drinking a cup of tea, I've got actually a burnt lip here from him because I go, Dingo. And he's like, I've burnt myself but I know he loves me. So He's just the touch is very important. The other one when you were talking about the voices that this is interesting that you brought up this frequency because you said it's like between the two. This is what happens with Ginger, the electric one. She's number 5 child. When beings come through for her, they won't come through for her unless there's another third party. So there has to be a pet or one of the family members. Um, it has to be something that knows her as well. It can't be wildlife. So it has to be either a domestic farm pet that knows us, like a chicken or a cat or a dog or a horse, or one of the family members, and then the energy of the being will come through. Otherwise, it's like they're too scared of her frequency. That's the only terms we have for that right now. And that seems to happen. So if you're the one, you'll generally you'll see the cats with Ginger and then they just jump up in the air because
Yeah,
they've given her electric shock and
yeah,
their
yeah,
tail goes all fuzzy. Okay. And so we know that that has something's come through. So with you, with these two between, is assisting the one in the middle through. So
yeah,
so you'll have to
yeah,
be in a really clear state to bring that one through because you'll be holding that one and this one to help this one come through. And this is when people say multi-dimensional, fifth dimensional. I don't know all the dimensions, and I'm not going to even try to understand how it works, but they'll need this one, and they might need them to come in a certain order to bring them in, to bring this one in.
yeah, yeah.
It's weird how it works, to me it makes to me I go, oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. 'Cause-
No, I'm the same. I'm the same. So I get like go and look at YouTube now and look at that one, and it's perfect, because I've been looking at somebody called Ian McGilchrist, and he talks about hemispheres, the left and the right hemispheres, right, and all the information that's coming to me for years, he's basically written in the book. So it's almost like I'm not looking to the book for information. I look to books now for confirmation of the information that's coming to me. And he's a lovely man, this bloke. You can sense his heart-centeredness and his sensitivity. And he's basically saying the world's bloody crazy, and we need to we need to get back to common sense, not this uncommon sense that's going on. Everything that we're talking about. And he said he's an internationally renowned neuroscientist, right? Who's now bringing heart into the equation as well, right? And he talks about the master and his emissary. And when I heard that, I thought, I'll have to go and look at this. But what he's saying is we're so left brain dominant because that's what we've been using. And it's so aligned with shallow and basically the masculine side of our nature, which has been doing the work, but it's not been listening to the right creative side, which is the feminine. It's almost like obstructed the feminine. But now the feminine's coming through with more power, the right brain, right, with more wisdom and with more care and compassion. So it's almost trying to teach the masculine to take care of themselves as well. So we're getting the masculine to get it done and left brain and linear and all that now. That's where it's all falling apart now. Honest to God, Elsa, there's so much coming in that like I first met you and I said in 1987 I was trying to bang my head against the wall because there was so much information coming in. Well, it feels like that again now, you know. But I'm mostly able to emotionally stay calm and process it now most of the time. And sometimes I'm completely off my head like old days.
I keep getting Black Knight, but he's not black, he's ultraviolet. And you, to, so this is what's cute about Hollywood is you have this show, right? But the Black Knight, he would have had to go to the bathroom first, then put on all the gear, and then if he's anything like me, he goes, "Oh, I gotta go again." Take
Yeah,
it all off again and put it on. And then he would have had to do certain things if he didn't look after his armor, like oil it
yeah,
and keep it lubricated, it will be squeaky. Like people don't see all the funny sides of what a Black Knight is, but or these movies because they're made so, wow. But I'm the behind the scenes person going, oh my God, would someone shut that Black Knight up? He's so scared. Go give him some oil. Spray some oil. Right, hang on, he's got his cape stuck in something again. Like it takes discipline and understanding your outfit to getting to that last final image of you. And so keep the discipline going, the mastery,
Yeah,
the Mars Tar or Star story, the Moose Tar story. So that's the memory of the essence of you and then to tell it. And then you said hemisphere, him in sphere, him. Him is not, him is her, but him is prayer. So be what you say in the spin, but not, it's not one sphere, it's spheres.
yeah.
And this is what you're doing with these voices coming in and you saying you're hitting your head against a brick wall sometimes because between each sphere would probably feel like a bit of a wall. It's like you're in one bubble and you're in another. But if you've got multiple bubbles coming in all at once, which you seem to be able to do, um, that's a lot of sealed sections that you're cracking open. So
Well,
you might have had to have this bronchitis thing come up, like this this bronchitis to come up to pull out whatever is in to bring in these new ones.
see, it takes me back to the tree of life again and Kabbalah, that, but it used to be a 10 sphere tree, and that's because two were blocked off in order to keep us in servitude, really. But the two more that were obstructed are now back online. And for anybody who wants to look at Kabbalah, it's the spheres are connected. And if you work both sides of them and connect one sphere to another, what actually happens is new skills come online. So just do yourself a favor and go and have a look at the Kabbalistic tree of life, or even look at the 12 sphere one, because each one of them represents a different psychic ability. I'm not saying do it to improve your psychic ability, because if you work in the sequence, these psychic abilities or siddhis or whatever you want to call them, right, they'll come online naturally in their own time, right, and in the right place. But all I'm saying is now there's loads and loads of things coming up. I tell you what's really, really expanded for me in the last few weeks is my sense of smell is absolutely massive now. It's unbelievably sensitive. And I can't go anywhere near the chemical aisles in the supermarket anymore, because what comes in is the molecule comes into my nose and then my throat closes off straight away to protect my lungs. And I know that happens in me because I'm supremely sensitive to that as well. So another sense that we don't take much notice of is our sense of taste as well. Because these senses are there. They're not only there for our protection, but they're there for our pleasure as well. So it's trying to get the balance between what's a defensive instinct and what's actually a pleasure instinct as well. So there's Elsa, it's all coming in, and then I have to say, whoa, stop, 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 stop. Please show me
Yeah.
what to do next.
Well, common sense is come on sense.
Ah,
It's calling. It's calling your senses. Come on sense.
ah,
Come on sense. So, um,
loads.
yeah, come on sense. And look, um, by you showing humility and um, respect and your tears, and so many others are doing the same thing, that it brings it in me. And so then I come into my senses, I come in back into my love, I come back into those first feelings of when we got here and the first sparkles I see in the children's eyes and that twinkle in Richard's and it brings you back to sense and then you go from there.
I
And
agree.
that's where we have to do. So we have to be him in the spheres and come on sense. Come on, we can do this. We can do this. You're here for a purpose. You're not here for random, no matter what they say. No
No,
matter what they say. And we're here to help. We've been through we've been through the battlefields, and it's not to make your life easier, but we're there to show you you can do it. And it will feel like you're stripping your soul, I guess, in a way, or stripping your finances or stripping your health. But there's also a lot of fun in this. There is a lot of fun. There's a lot of smiles, and you will feel more you than ever.
I agree.
And you'll start to go, what was I before?
Yeah,
Don't go down that road because that's too confusing.
yeah. No, no, I agree. I mean, and like I said before, my feeling is we're jettisoning that old personality, persona meaning mask. So all the masks that we've accumulated over eons of time are all dissolving now. And when they've all gone, we will be left with who we really are. I heard a fantastic expression in the week is it's not I am that I am, I am that I am. It's I am this I am. So what you see is
Mm.
what you get. Right now, this is it. Right. I'm not trying to make anything up. This is who I am. Right. The important thing is, are you happy with who you are? Right. Or are you pretending to be something that you're not? And I know now that people used to say to me, why don't you just be yourself? And I always thought I was being myself until I realized that it wasn't myself, it was a made up self, right? And that's the hard part is then you have to start jettisoning all the stuff that you think you were in order to be left with the thing that you really are. Sounded a bit
Yeah,
ghoulish there. So in the end, it's like it's like coming home, isn't it, really? Oh God, I've just got a big whiff of my mother. Funny how that happens, isn't it?
yeah.
I'll tell you what just happened to me then is I've got my mum, I've got me as a child leaning on my mum's breasts, you know what I mean? And snuggled in. That homely feeling and the comfortable feeling that you've come home. It's that type of feeling. Behave yourself, mother. I'm like, my God, got me that one.
Hom is Great Pharaoh is Hom. Hom is where the first frequency is. Om is the frequency that all the whales and everything speak through. That's where they speak through, is Om. That's where they started. And Om even if you can't find sweet words, a lot of people use Om as a calling card. So come on, senses, come on, come on, Om, Om, and um. in those crisis moments, pull those words in. We've had a few, not with just our family, but other people we've been around to help support. And on those crisis moments, you pull in those words. Wow. Crisis moments doesn't mean that always the end. There's two sides to it, but we've just always been told crisis moments is the end. It's not. When you pull in the energy of a balance in a crisis moment, far out. Not only is it powerful for you, you can feel it shudder out to the whole universe. And I know you've had so many crisis moments, and keep going, Dr. Joe, because you're doing a great job, and you're being honest and showing humility and coming on and showing all of us and sharing with us in a playful manner,
No, I
being able
think
to laugh at self.
yeah, yeah, I do. I mean, and my job is to take the piss, not just to take the piss out of myself, but try and ruthlessly take the piss out of everybody else as well. Right? And if they don't smile, well, they'll be back.
Yeah.
Elsa, I'm going, and thank you so much. I just have to say this, I love you like mad, and I love your family as well.
Oh,
And
yeah.
at a deep, deep level, whether that's to do with past lives or different dimensions, it doesn't matter to me. There are some people I resonate deeply with, and I don't even try and work it out because that's just the way that I feel. Now, there are other people who are highly well known and all that, and I get, and I go with that now because I trust that feeling. It's almost like a sonar or a radar goes out and then it brings back the information. No, I don't think so. Or yes, fair enough. That's okay. So thank you for everything. We'll have another one of these down the line, when we get the call.
Yeah. And can you say something to Catherine for me too? I think she's so cute. I can see her going, bloody fool, get in the car.
Yeah. Oh no, no.
That's me.
Yeah. Well, when she kicks off, she really lets go, you know. But I mean, she's a very private person, very private.
I
She's
know
so
she's private, yeah.
sensitive. She doesn't do people at all because she can pick up their energies very, very clearly, right? She doesn't do people, but she does plants and animals, right? And she
Mm.
just walk to a plant and she'll be saying, "Do you want water?" And it'll almost like
Mm.
say, "Yeah, I do," or she'll skip it because it's just saying, "No, I'm all right, thanks," you know. And our house is full of house plants and there's animals. We have foxes coming to the door every night. We've got hedgehogs. We've got, you know, ravens and crows and seagulls. And she goes out every night with a great big bowl of food to the bottom of the garden. That's for
Oh,
the foxes at night time. And in the morning, she feeds all the crows because we have loads of crows here, you know, roads. So I'm in an idyllic situation, right? Really. Um, and I've got no complaints, Elsa, at all. I'm very grateful to be alive. I feel like I've got a purpose in my life, but I'm not altogether sure what it is. So I'll just keep plundering along and see what happens next, really.
and I just share this cute, I want to share a quick story. So I'll be making up, and because we live far, everywhere's half an hour drive to wherever we need to go, sort of thing. Anyway, I'm making up porridge in the middle of winter morning and putting in all these things and minerals and stuff. And Richard, Richard thinks I'm making him breakfast. And I go, no, 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 no. He goes, where are you going with that? And then I put my gumboots on. He goes, you're not giving it to the chickens, are you? And I said, oh, they need to warm their bellies. And he's like, but no, what I'm just gonna warm my belly. Oh, you can have some toast, you'll be fine. And you can see me carry this big pot, and I can see Catherine doing the same thing. She's
She
like, no,
does,
no,
and when
it's
she's
for the
walking down,
foxes.
when she's walking down the garden in the morning, it's hello crows, hello crows. They'll start coming in. We've got a massive seagull that brings its young, and they're on the fence waiting. Then we've got the crows over here. Then we've got the magpies here, and then we've got the robins, and we've got these really coloured ones, which I don't know the name is. I say, there's those coloured birds again, you know, and all that sort of thing. So same sort of. You're like twins, actually, you two.
So
Right,
funny.
Elsa. Well,
All right.
thanks very much, and thank
Thank
you
you.
everybody for listening. And you know, I just want to just reiterate, you know, I keep getting the same thing is that beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. It doesn't say be gentle with yourself and forget the wholesome discipline. It goes the other way around, you know. And like you said about putting the armor on and keeping it oiled and all that, I do feel that it's almost like we've got to each take responsibility for putting our health and our well-being first and foremost. So that was a bit like a bit of a doctor lecture, Joe, there, but I just wanted to say that, you know. May the force be with you in nomine Patris et Filio et Spiritu Sancti. Bless you and hopefully speak to you soon. Bye. Thanks, everyone.